can we see the seafarers who are with us in this ball right now? Please rise to be acknowledged. Again, our apologies, but this is really your day, together with your families. So thank you, and I hope I'm forgiven for that mission. Okay, so now we proceed with our third topic. And our third topic is on Maritime Piracy, a humanitarian response program. Our speakers for this portion are two gentlemen who have dedicated their lives to protect and promote the welfare of seafarers around the globe. Both are actually chaplains. The first heads the International Transport Federation program, addressing piracy under the charity called ITF Seafarers Trust. And the other is a member of the board of the Seafarers Family Organization, providing various types of crisis support in the event of a traumatic event involving seafarers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Roy Paul and Mr. Toon Van Lisan.
Pleasure to be here. I'm so happy to see so many people here because 2 weekends ago I was in London at the Maritime Fiesta, the Philippines. And I thought you were all there because there were so many people. There must have been 40,000 people in the park, in the rain, in London. So I'm glad some of you are still here. We are today a double act. I'm not quite sure whether we're Laurel and Hardy or whether we're Tom and Jerry. But we'll find out as the afternoon goes on. First of all, we introduce ourselves. As I said, I'm Roy Paul. I was formerly a chaplain working for the Seamen Division. And then 6 years ago now, I joined the ITF Seafarers Trust. A very quick explanation. Everybody knows the ITF. And as part of the ITF, they have the welfare funds. And that's where they take the money which the owners give for the welfare of seafarers. They provide inspectors from that. They supply some aids from that. And as always, or it used to be the case, if you've got money in a bank, every year the bank will give you some interest. And what happens with that interest is we move that into the Seafarers Trust. And that's the money that we as a trust spend around the world. This year, almost $6 million will be spent in developing seafarers' welfare. And one of the projects we're doing at the moment is the regional program for the Southeast Asia region. And so it's good that the Seafarers Trust actually has a sea region now. And that is the countries which are represented by our foreign delegates here today and funded by the Trust through the International Committee on Seafarers' Welfare. So that's me, and now Tony will introduce himself also.
Good afternoon. I'm Toon van der Zanden. I'm a sailing chaplain. I'm working for the Dutch dredging industry. So when I'm doing my normal job, I stay on all kinds of dredging ships all over the world. But fortunately, I know Roy already for a long time. And we started together with the Piracy Response Program. And we are still friends. We were friends, and I'm hoping that we will stay friends. And part of my work is now assisting Roy in developing this program. And when we are going to explain our program, you will know what we are doing all about. Thank you very much.
I have to explain that we're very casual. We've come up without our jackets. I hope you forgive us. It's mainly because Tone's wife is wearing theirs because it's cold. So, sorry about that, we're very casual. Do we have a switch it? There we go. Piracy is a problem that we're all thinking about some of the time or all the time. And it's a problem which has really come into its own in the last few years. But what is piracy? What do we see as piracy? Well, let's go to the United Nations International Maritime Organization, the IMO. And they define what piracy is. And you must also remember that piracy includes armed robbery. So piracy means unlawful acts as defined in Article 101 of the 1982 UN Convention of the Law of the Sea. And since recently the definitions of that have now been made to cover actual and also attempted attacks, whether the ship is berthed or at anchor or at sea. Because until recently, if you went with a skiff and you attacked a ship, you hadn't actually done anything wrong until you went aboard the ship. So now they've changed the rules. So piracy consists then of the following acts. Any illegal act of violence or detention, or any act of deprivation committed for private ends by the crew or the passengers of a private ship or a private aircraft and directed on the high seas, against another ship or aircraft, or against persons or property on board such ships or aircraft. You see where there's a mistake there? Committed for private ends by the crew or the passenger of a private ship. So is what we're dealing with in Somalia actually piracy? Because they're not a crew of a ship. They're land-based and they come out in little boats. And that's the problem, that we think that pirates are the wrong term. Sea terrorists is a better word, because that's what they're doing. They're terrorizing us. It's not piracy. When you think of piracy, what do you think of? Yeah? When you think of piracy, what do you think of? Captain Hook. Yeah? Being frightened of the crocodile. Yeah? And that's the problem we have with the public. Piracy, what are you on about? You're crazy. It's only a cartoon character. What's the second thing you think of when you think of piracy? Johnny Depp. Yeah? Everybody thinks the pirates are like Johnny Depp. Well, they're not like that. That's the face of the pirates that we're dealing with today, or the terrorists. We still call them pirates because it makes life easier, but really we don't think so. That's what they look like now. Yeah? Hardened criminals who are attacking our seafarers. Put it into the situation then. 6.8 billion tons of goods are moved by sea annually. The global trade circle of ships moving around is worth 7.4 trillion US dollars. Up to 90% of everything we use in our daily lives travels by ship at some point. We all know how important ships are. But ships can't go by themselves. Sometimes you think they do, because people forget the people that live and work on the ships. But seafarers also, of course, are important. Historically, it started coming back to life in the Malacca Straits, the bit between Malaysia and Indonesia, where ships would be attacked. What they do there is they try and take the ship. They put the crew in the lifeboat, get rid of the crew, they'd sail the ship off, they'd paint it, they'd change its name, and then sell the ship and the cargo. The crew were just left to go. What happened is the IMO then decided that in future all ships would have their IMO number fixed to them. So it's not so easy now to change the name of the ship. Also the navies of the area, including the Philippine Navy, banded together to increase patrols and therefore cut down the amount of attacks that happen in the Atlantic. And then they take off and go back ashore and leave the seafarers to recover. Occasionally, especially if they're Westerners, then they may take the captain or the chief engineer or somebody who works for the shipping company hostage and hold the ransom. Then, of course, as we've already heard, has already been raised, what we used to call the Gulf of Aden the coast of Somalia, which now, of course, has become the entire Indian Ocean, as the pirates have spread their operations in this area. What's the reason for it? Well, they'll tell you it was the tsunami in 2004. And before that, the Western world had been using the Somalian coast as a dumping ground for its toxic waste. And the tsunami lifted everything off the bed of the ocean, dumped it on the beach, broke them open, and spilt their toxic waste, killing all the fish, making the fishermen of Somalia unable to operate in the waters that they operated in. Off the coast, they could see the foreign fishing vessels were still working, and that made them angry. And so they took their little boats and they went out and they took those ships hostage. And they wanted maybe $20,000 in order to get the vessel back. People saw this and thought this is a good idea, and so they armed themselves, they organized themselves, and they became, in fact, organized crime. Better equipped, faster boats, rocket launchers, and machine guns. And they went out then to make money. It is a business they're in. This is their business, taking ships hostage and holding them for ransom. That's what they do for their living now. And it's a very good living for them. Doesn't make it right at all. There are lots of other people who are in trouble, don't have money, don't have food, but they don't take to armed crime. And so you'll see that since 2003, when after the tsunami happened and sort of took off, it was a bit in 2003, it's increased up till 2010, when there's 445 attacks worldwide, and so far this year there's been 266 attacks. That is worldwide, not just in Somalia. If you like facts and figures, we'll have some more. Today's situation is, according to the International Crime Centre, as at the 20th of July, which is the last figures they gave, there are 20 vessels held at the moment, with 420 crew on board. Vessels attacked between January and June this year have been 21. That's a decrease from last year, when they attacked 27. And it's also been noted that while the number of attacked, these are attacked and taken hostage, while the number of vessels has been about the same, the level of success has dropped. And so you only get 21 against 27 last year. And so far in Somalia, the pirates have taken 361 hostages this year and kidnapped 13. The difference between hostage and kidnapping, as I explained, hostage, they keep them on board the vessel, kidnap, they take them off. 7 of those 13 are, of course, Indian seafarers from the Asphalt Venture, where the pirates released the crew but kept the Indian officers because the Indian government had attacked various ships belonging with the Indian crew on board. That attacked and killed pirates and taken pirates hostage. They took one ship with 61 pirates on board, took them back to India, to discover that half of the 61 pirates were actually under the age of 15. And there are, because of our empowerment lady, there are women pirates as well now. So worldwide, so far this year, 495 seafarers have been taken hostage. The pirates have killed 7 seafarers. Normally,